Maya Reynolds was dismissed the moment she stepped onto Skyward Aviation Academy's grounds. Labeled a charity case, humiliated by privileged students, and thrown out for daring to approach a flight simulator. They sabotaged her evaluation flight, laughed as she struggled, and shredded her application before her eyes. No one knew that the quiet woman in worn jeans was Lieutenant Colonel Maya Reynolds, F-35 combat veteran, and Skyward's secret benefactor. Until she landed a Lightning E fighter jet, silenced the Academy, and buried their arrogance in the Nevada dust. The Nevada desert shimmered under a merciless sun. Skyward Aviation Academy stood as a monument to exclusivity, where America's elite played at being pilots, as if commanding the skies was just another luxury to acquire. The air vibrated with the thunderous roar of engines, the sharp scent of jet fuel, and the self-satisfied conversations of the nation's wealthiest heirs. Their custom-tailored flight suits and designer aviators showcased their inherited privilege rather than earned skill. Maya Reynolds, a lean, athletic woman in a faded gray shirt, worn jeans with a tear at the knee, and canvas sneakers that had seen better days, stepped onto this battleground with nothing but a threadbare canvas bag slung over her shoulder. The Academy, with its gleaming hangars, cutting-edge simulators, and private jets arranged like trophies, served as a playground for the privileged, where family connections outweighed actual flying ability. A security guard blocked her path at the entrance, his expression twisting into an instant sneer, his tone dripping with disdain. "Lost your way, sweetheart. This is an aviation academy, not a garage sale." He scoffed, his badge catching the sunlight as he pointed toward the exit. Maya didn't react, her gaze cutting through him with laser-like intensity, the silence a fortress that only fueled his arrogance. She warped past him, her worn sneakers scuffing against the pristine tarmac, while onlookers watched with growing disdain at this obvious outsider in their exclusive domain. The massive hangars loomed ahead, their polished steel doors serving as portals to a world that rejected her very presence. Cameras set up for the Academy's promotional feed zoomed in on her worn bag, framing it as evidence of her unworthiness. The assembled trainees, a collection of trust fund beneficiaries, corporate heirs, and socialite thrill-seekers, assessed her with contemptuous glances, their whispers forming a chorus of mockery that echoed across the sun-baked asphalt. Maya's deliberate, unwavering stride carried her toward the simulator hangar, but her unassuming appearance rendered her invisible to the elite who controlled Skyward. To them, she was insignificant, a blemish on their polished tarmac, and they were determined to erase her before she could even touch a flight control. As Maya approached the registration desk to submit her application, a group of aviation influencers, their branded flight jackets adorned with sponsor patches, surrounded her. Their laughter formed a toxic cloud that drowned out the ambient sounds of the hangar. A man with slicked back hair and a gold smartwatch stepped forward, his voice carrying a sneering lilt that projected across the tarmac as he activated his drone camera to live-stream the confrontation. "Well, look what we have here. Our very own grease monkey thinking she can register for our academy," he mocked, gesturing toward his audience. "That t-shirt is so faded it's practically advertising a junkyard. And that bag, it's an insult to Skyward's prestige." He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a theatrical whisper that everyone could still hear. "This is a pilot's sanctuary where we soar among the elite, not where you come to fumble with your discount dreams. You're contaminating our academy just by standing here, looking like you wandered in from a recycling center. Why don't you shuffle back to whatever garage you crawled out of before you waste our valuable slots with your pathetic application?" The influencers erupted in laughter, some tossing energy drink cans at her feet, their taunts forming a relentless barrage that reverberated throughout the hangar. A female executive in a leather flight cap smirked, her nod encouraging their cruelty as the camera zoomed in on Maya's frayed jeans, framing them as proof of her inadequacy. Maya handed her application to the clerk, her posture rigid, her face revealing nothing, her silence serving as a shield against their venom. But the weight of their scorn pressed upon her like a physical force, while observers seethed at the orchestrated public humiliation targeting her based solely on her appearance and assumed background. The registration desk, intended to welcome aspiring pilots, became a stage for her degradation. Each word struck like a calculated blow to crush her spirit, amplified by the live stream reaching thousands of viewers. While Maya waited for her simulator orientation, standing near a briefing board listing flight protocols, a circle of private jet owners, their bespoke flight suits emblazoned with family crests, surrounded her, their laughter a barbed wire fence that silenced the hangar's typical buzz. A tall jet owner with a diamond-encrusted lapel pin stepped forward, his voice a mocking bellow that carried over the clatter of tools. "What's this?" A street rat thinking she can comprehend our protocols. He sneered, waving his monogrammed flight log like a scepter. "Those jeans are so torn, they're practically screaming destitute. And that t-shirt, it's an affront to Skyward's legacy." He gestured dramatically around the hangar. "This is an airfield for titans, where we command the skies, not where you come to gawk with your sad little bag. You're defiling our academy just by breathing our air, darling. Why don't you scurry back to whatever humble dwelling you call home before you ruin our briefing with your clueless stare?" The jet owners roared with laughter, some flicking paper checklists at her feet, their taunts forming a relentless barrage that echoed throughout the hangar. A tech mogul in a silk scarf smirked, his nod fueling their cruelty as the cameras panned to Maya's battered sneakers, framing them as evidence of her unworthiness. Maya studied the briefing board, her posture unyielding, her face impassive, her silence a fortress against their venom. But the weight of their scorn crushed like a physical force, observers' anger rising at the coordinated public assault targeting her preparation and worth. The briefing board, intended to educate trainees, became another stage for her degradation. Each word struck like a dagger aimed at her heart. The owner's smugness, a relentless assault on her dignity, live-streamed to the Academy's followers. The humiliation escalated in the simulator hangar, where the heirs and elite of America's wealthiest families gathered, their laughter slicing through the air like afterburners when they spotted Maya's faded attire. A chorus of jeers erupted, led by Victoria Blackwell, daughter of Skyward's chairman. Her tailored flight suit and diamond-studded aviators created a stark contrast to Maya's threadbare shirt. "Want to be a pilot, huh?" Victoria sneered, strutting forward with her entourage, her voice a venomous drawl that silenced the hangar's ambient noise. "Sweetie, turning a car key would be challenging for you, let alone a jet engine. That bag is so ratty it's screaming garage sale. And those jeans, they're an insult to this airfield." She performed for her audience. "This is Skyward, where we own the skies, not where you come to play pretend with your thrift store dreams. Honestly, it's almost pathetic you thought you could stand among us. Why haven't you scuttled back to whatever diner you crawled out of before you embarrass yourself further?" The trainees rode their cheers, a storm that humiliated Maya in front of the instructors. Some snapped photos for their social media accounts, their hashtags #GaragePilot trending within minutes. Victoria, her smirk functioning like a guillotine, tipped a full water bottle over Maya's sneakers, the liquid pooling around her feet. "Consider it a kindness," she scoffed. "Maybe your discount shoes will look better now." Observers' fury peaked, their rage at this brazen public assault boiling over as Maya stood motionless, her canvas bag dripping, her face an unreadable mask, her silence louder than their jeers. The hangar, designed for training elite pilots, transformed into a coliseum for her degradation. Each laugh functioned as a calculated strike to crush her spirit. The trainee's smugness, a relentless assault on her dignity broadcast on the Academy's promotional feed. The head instructor, Captain James Harrington, delivered the final blow, his voice a gravelly bark that echoed throughout the hangar as he approached Maya, his flight cap tilted with disdain. "Ma'am, Did you lose your way from the kitchen? He sneered, his eyes raking over her soaked sneakers. Do us a favor. Keep those dishwashing hands off my simulators. That t-shirt is so worn it's practically screaming janitor. And that bag. It's an insult to this academy. He gestured around the hangar with theatrical disdain. This is Skyward, where we train legends, not nobodies who think they can waltz in and fly. You're lucky we even let you through the gate. Go back to scrubbing floors before you waste more of our valuable time. The trainees erupted in laughter, a tidal wave of mockery. Some tossed paper flight manuals at her feet, their jeers forming a storm that humiliated Maya in front of the staff. Harrington's smirk was a blade, his voice a whip that lashed at her ambition. The cameras captured her drenched shoes, the hashtag kitchen pilot trending alongside hashtag garage pilot. Maya's bag rested against her side, her face impassive, her silence a coiled spring, while observers' rage boiled over at the ruthless public dismissal that aimed to erase her from the airfield. During a pre-training safety briefing, as Maya stood among the trainees to listen to emergency protocols, a group of military academy cadets, their polished boots and insignia-laden jackets exuding disciplined arrogance, surrounded her, their laughter a venomous net that silenced the hangar's drone. A broad-shouldered cadet with a gold-plated watch stepped forward, his voice a mocking bellow that carried over the instructor's voice. What's this? A drifter thinking she can learn our protocols, he sneered, waving his flight manual like a flag. That t-shirt's so ragged it's practically screaming transient. And those jeans, they're an insult to Skyward's honor. He performed for his peers. This is a program for warriors, where we conquer the skies, not where you come to loiter with your sad little bag. You're polluting our briefing just by standing here, looking like you've wandered in from a shelter. Why did you hightail it back to whatever modest accommodation you call home before you ruin our training with your clueless presence? The cadets rolled with laughter, some tossing paper flight logs at her feet, their taunts forming a relentless barrage that echoed throughout the hangar. A defense contractor in a tailored suit smirked, his nod fueling their cruelty as the camera zoomed in on Maya's unstyled hair, framing it as evidence of her inadequacy. Maya listened to the briefing, her posture rigid, her face impassive, her silence a shield against their venom. But the weight of their scorn crushed like a physical force, observers' fury erupting at the coordinated public assault targeting her participation and worth. The briefing, meant to ensure safety, became another stage for her degradation. Each word struck like a dagger aimed at her heart. The cadet's smugness, a relentless assault on her dignity, live-streamed to the Academy's audience. The mockery reached its zenith with a staged test flight designed to destroy her. The trainees shoved Maya into a simulator pod, their laughter a venomous chorus as they discreetly modified the settings, maximizing desert storm turbulence, introducing input lag, and desensing the sensors to ensure a guaranteed disaster. Victoria, orchestrating the sabotage, leaned against the pod, her voice a mocking lilt. Let's see how our charity case handles a real jet, she sneered, her aviators glinting. Bet she'll crash before she even lifts off. As Maya gripped the controls, they muted her audio feed, piped in false radar readings, and watched her struggle. The pod screens flashed warnings of an imminent crash. She nose-dived into a pixelated cactus, the simulator screeching failure right on cue. The hangar exploded in laughter, a trainee shouting, "Did she just plow into the desert?" Another jeered, "Get Academy security to escort her back to wherever she belongs." Harrington ripped her application from the clipboard, tore it to shreds, and tossed it into a trash can, his voice booming. "You're done here." After the simulator sabotage, as Maya gathered her belongings to leave the hangar, a group of aviation journalists, their press badges and designer notepads exuding intellectual superiority, gathered at the exit, their laughter a venomous chorus that silenced the hangar's ambient noise. A gray-haired journalist with a silver fountain pen stepped forward, his voice a sneering lilt that carried over the clatter of departing trainees. "What's this?" A crushed dummy thinking, "She can exit our airfield with dignity," he mocked, waving his notepad like a scepter. "Those sneakers are so battered they're practically screaming failure. And that bag, it's an insult to Skyward's legacy." He performed for his colleagues. "This is an academy for aviators, where we chronicle legends, not where you come to crash with your sad little dreams. You're tarnishing our story just by lingering here, looking like you've wandered in from a scrapyard. Why don't you slink back to whatever modest dwelling you call home before you ruin our coverage with your pathetic exit?" The journalists roared with laughter, some tossing crumpled press passes at her feet, their taunts forming a relentless barrage that echoed throughout the hangar. A media executive in a silk blazer smirked, her nod fueling their cruelty as the camera zoomed in on Maya's dripping t-shirt, framing it as proof of her defeat. Maya shouldered her bag, her movements deliberate, her face a mask of stone, her silence a fortress against their venom. But the weight of their scorn crushed like a physical force, observers' rage erupting at the coordinated public assault targeting her departure and worth. The exit, meant to be her escape, became a final stage for her degradation. Each word struck like a dagger aimed at her heart. The journalist's smugness, a relentless assault on her dignity, live-streamed to the world. The next day, Skyward buzzed with anticipation for a VIP demonstration show. Media crews swarmed the airfield as the champagne crowd, corporate tycoons, socialites, and aviation moguls polished their egos alongside their private jets, their tailored suits and diamond earrings glinting under the Nevada sun. The tarmac shimmered with heat, the air thick with the scent of wealth and the hum of exclusivity. The crowd remained oblivious to the storm about to descend. Suddenly, a blip appeared on the radar, unscheduled, uninvited. A silver blur tore through the skies. A sonic boom shattered the morning calm. An F-35 Lightning II, silent and deadly, rolled over the airfield, its afterburners slicing the arrogance from the air. 3 surgical passes carved through the heavens, dust clouds erupting across the tarmac, swallowing the crowd's gasps. The jet executed a precision touchdown, its tires kissing the runway with a whisper, the canopy hissing open to reveal Maya Reynolds. Her flight suit gleamed, her oxygen mask dangled at her neck, her expression colder than the lightning's titanium skin. From a Black Hawk helicopter nearby, General Richardson emerged, his presence a thunderclap, his voice booming across the silenced airfield. "Ladies and gentlemen, meet Lieutenant Colonel Maya Reynolds, record holder for an 18-hour continuous combat flight in an F-35, former commander of the Shadow Falcon Squadron, and the anonymous benefactor who finances Skyward Foundation." The crowd didn't breathe, their champagne flutes slipping, the cameras zooming in on Maya's unflinching gaze, observers' hearts pounding with awe at the revelation of her identity. As the F-35's engines powered down, Maya's silhouette emerged from the cockpit, her flight suit a gleaming testament to her authority. The airfield, now a hallowed ground where her legend was forged. A retired Air Force general, whose medals had graced countless ceremonies, stepped forward from the VIP crowd, his voice a resonant proclamation that silenced the airfield's hum, his presence a storm that swept away the last vestiges of the trainee scorn. "Colonel Reynolds, your mastery of the Lightning is a triumph of skill and will, a legacy that redefines aviation," he declared, his eyes fixed on her oxygen mask, now a symbol of her dominion. "The Air Force will honor you with a distinguished service citation for your contributions to combat aviation." The cameras swept across Maya's unflinching gaze, her battered sneakers now emblems of her triumph, her landing a defiant rebuke to the sabotage that had sought to bury her. Observers' satisfaction surged, their rage at the initial cruelty transformed into awe at the general's tribute. Each word functioned as a lash against the antagonist's pride. Victoria Blackwell, her aviators trembling, stood frozen, their socialite empire crumbling as social media, erupted with hashtag Lightning Queen drowning her hashtag GarageByLooks hashtags. The press, their pens a blur, framed Maya as the silent ace, their skill a supernova that outshone their betrayal. The air thickened with the weight of her triumph and their disgrace. The trainees who had laughed sat in stunned silence, their flight suits relics of their failure, their influence erased by Maya's brilliance. The airfield's tarmac, once a stage for scorn, now framed her victory. Each citation functioned as a testament to her enduring dignity. The general's pledge to mentor her academy's cadets sealed the antagonist's humiliation, their legacy reduced to a footnote, observers' hearts pounding with pride at her ascent. Maya stepped from the cockpit, her boots striking the tarmac with deliberate precision, her silence a force that suffocated the airfield. She walked past the trembling executives, past Victoria Blackwell, whose diamond aviators now seemed pathetic, her entourage shrinking into the dust. Maya paused at the trash can where her application lay in tatters, retrieving the crumpled water bottle Victoria had poured over her shoes. With a flick of her wrist, she dropped it into the can, her voice a quiet blade. Trash belongs with trash. The crowd gasped, the cameras capturing every second, observers' satisfaction soaring as Victoria's face collapsed, the socialite empire crumbling under the weight of her shame. To Captain Harrington, Maya turned, her eyes locking onto his, her verdict colder than the desert night. You teach people to fly, yet you forget, fly too low, and you dwell with vermin, she said, her words a guillotine that severed his authority. The trainees who had laughed stood silent, their hashtags hashtag kitchen pillow buried under hashtag Lightning Queen, their clout erased by Maya's brilliance. With the airfield still reeling from Maya's landing, a prominent aerospace engineer, whose designs had shaped modern fighters, emerged from the Black Hawk, her voice a resonant decree that silenced the crowd's gasps, her presence a beacon of technical authority. Maya Reynolds, your command of the F-35 is a masterclass in precision, a feat that will inspire the next generation of aerospace innovation, she declared, her eyes locked on Maya's flight suit, now a mantle of aerial sovereignty. Lockheed Martin will dedicate a research wing in your name to advanced fighter jet technology. The cameras captured Maya's serene expression, her canvas bag now a relic of her triumph, her landing a relentless assault on the mockery that had sought to erase her. Observers' satisfaction soared, their fury at the trainees' sabotage transformed into reverence at the engineer's pledge. Each word functioned as a guillotine slicing through the antagonist's arrogance. Captain Harrington, his flight cap trembling, stood paralyzed, his authority obliterated as social media buried his hashtag kitchen pillow hashtags under hashtag Skyward Reborn trends. The press, their headlines blazing, framed Maya as the silent ace, her skill a radiant force that outshone their cruelty. The air thickened with the weight of her triumph and their disgrace. The elite who had jeered stood silent, their diamond accessories now relics of their failure, their clout erased by Maya's brilliance. The airfield's hangars framed her victory, each research wing a testament to her enduring dignity. The engineers' commitment to collaborate with Maya's academy sealed the antagonist's humiliation, their legacy reduced to ash, observers' hearts swelling with pride at her coronation. Before the press, she produced a stack of documents, her voice steady, effective immediately, I'm acquiring 80% of Skyward Aviation Academy shares. Lesson 1 under my command. Learning when to bow your head. The termination papers were signed on the tarmac, Victoria expelled on the spot, her father's influence powerless against Maya's command. As a revered aviation historian whose chronicles had immortalized aerial legends stepped onto the tarmac, his voice a resonant proclamation that silenced the airfield, his presence a storm that swept away the last echoes of Victoria's scorn. Maya Reynolds, your F-35 landing is a chapter in aviation history, a testament to the unsung heroes who conquer the skies, he declared, his eyes fixed on Maya's oxygen mask, now a sacred artifact of her triumph. The Smithsonian Air and Space Museum will dedicate a permanent exhibit to your combat legacy. The cameras swept across Maya's unflinching gaze, her genes a badge of her victory, her landing a defiant rebuke to the sabotage that had sought to break her. Observers' satisfaction surged, their rage at the initial cruelty transformed into awe at the historian's pledge. Each word functioned as a lash against the antagonist's pride. The aviation influencers who had mocked her stood trembling, their branded jackets now relics of their failure, their #CrashDummy hashtags buried under #Lightning Queen trends that dominated global feeds. The press, their reports blazing, framed Maya as the silent ace, their skill a radiant force that outshone their betrayal. The air thickened with the weight of her triumph and their disgrace. The trainees who had tossed manuals sat in stunned silence, their clout erased by Maya's brilliance. The airfield's runways framed her victory, each exhibit a testament to her enduring dignity. The historians vowed to chronicle Maya's story in a best-selling book sealed the antagonist's humiliation, their legacy reduced to a cautionary tale, observers' hearts pounding with pride at her ascent. The media erupted, their footage of Maya stepping from the lightning going viral within hours, observers' hearts pounding with pride at her surgical vengeance. With the crowd still reeling from Maya's dominance, a global aviation safety regulator, whose standards had shaped international flight protocols, emerged from the VIP stands, her voice a resonant decree that silenced the airfield, her presence a beacon of regulatory authority. Maya Reynolds, your precision in the F-35 is a benchmark for aviation safety, a legacy that will protect pilots worldwide, she declared, her eyes fixed on Maya's flight suit, now a mantle of aerial majesty. The FAA will establish a safety award in your name to honor exceptional pilots. The cameras captured Maya's serene expression, her canvas bag a relic of her triumph, her landing a relentless assault on the mockery that had sought to erase her. Observers' satisfaction soared, their fury at the trainees' sabotage transformed into reverence at the regulator's pledge. Each word functioned as a guillotine slicing through the antagonist's arrogance. The private jet owners who had jeered stood trembling, their crested suits now relics of their failure, their #GaragePilot hashtags buried under #SkywardReborn trends that swept social media. The press, their headlines blazing, framed Maya as the silent ace, her skill a radiant force that outshone their cruelty. The air thickened with the weight of her triumph and their disgrace. The cadets who had tossed logs sat in stunned silence, their insignia meaningless, their clout erased by Maya's brilliance. The airfield's control tower framed her victory, each award a testament to her enduring dignity. The regulator's commitment to integrate Maya's protocols into global standards sealed the antagonist's humiliation, their legacy reduced to ash, observers' hearts swelling with pride at her coronation. The fallout was cataclysmic. Skyward's culture of elitism shattered under Maya's iron will. She didn't merely buy the academy, she transformed it into a combat-level flight academy for underprivileged youth, free of charge, merit-based, where the sky belonged to those who earned it, not those who inherited it. The trainees who had mocked her were blacklisted, their applications voided, their social media accounts drowned in condemnation, their #CrashDummy hashtags replaced by #SkywardReborn. Victoria's expulsion became a national scandal, her family's influence a fading echo, her aviators a relic of her disgrace. Harrington's career was obliterated, his name erased from aviation circles, his flight cap a forgotten artifact. The press uncovered Maya's past, a decorated combat pilot who had flown covert missions, the scars earned in dogfights, her anonymity a choice to honor the unsung. They called her the Lightning Queen, her t-shirt and jeans now symbols of untouchable authority. Other academies sent her invitations, begging for partnerships, but she declined, her silence as powerful as her landing. As Maya prepared to depart the airfield, a crowd of aspiring pilots, aviation enthusiasts, and media gathered under the Nevada stars, their eyes wide with awe, their chants of Lightning Queen echoing through the night. A legendary test pilot whose daring had pushed the limits of flight stepped forward from the throng. His voice, a resonant proclamation that silenced the desert's hum. His presence, a final blow to the antagonist's pride. Maya Reynolds, your F-35 mastery is a beacon for every pilot who dares to dream, he declared, his eyes fixed on Maya's sneakers, now emblems of her triumph. The Experimental Aircraft Association will name its highest honor after you, celebrating courage in the skies. The cameras followed Maya's serene silhouette, her sketchbook a symbol of her victory, her landing a legend that would outlive the airfield. Observers' satisfaction surged, their rage at the initial cruelty transformed into reverence at the test pilot's pledge. Each word functioned as a lash against the antagonist's pride. The journalists who had tossed passes stood trembling, their notepads irrelevant, their #CrashDummy hashtags buried under #Lightning Queen trends that dominated global feeds. The press, their headlines blazing, framed Maya as the silent ace, her skill a radiant force that outshone their betrayal. The air thickened with the weight of her triumph and their disgrace. The influencers and moguls sat in stunned silence, their clout extinguished by Maya's brilliance. The airfield's runways framed her victory, each honor a testament to her enduring dignity. The test pilot's vow to mentor Maya's academy students sealed the antagonist's humiliation, their legacy reduced to a footnote, observers' hearts pounding with pride at her ascent. The audience who had jeered her were left to grapple with their shame, their status erased, their clout a fading echo. Maya's victory wasn't just ownership. It was a reckoning etched into Skyward's history, a reminder that the simplest woman could wield the deadliest wings, observers' hearts pounding with pride. Skyward's transformation was seismic, its hangars now a beacon for dreamers who had been denied the sky. Maya's academy trained pilots with the precision of her Shadow Falcons, her instructors hand-picked for merit, their respect for her absolute, their eyes on the tarmac where she had landed the Lightning. The airfield's jets, once toys for the rich, now served the determined, the media documenting every takeoff as a testament to her vision. The corporate moguls who had scoffed were ostracized, their invitations to elite events revoked, their influence meaningless against Maya's reach. The influencers who had filmed her crash faced a social media storm, their accounts suspended, their clout buried under #Lightning Queen trends. Maya's closing statement, delivered to a global audience, echoed like a sonic boom. I wasn't here to fit in. I was here to clean house. And sometimes to clean, you start by taking out the trash. The press framed her as a legend, her F-35 landing a symbol of justice, her academy a revolution that redefined aviation. Observers' satisfaction soared, their rage at the initial cruelty transformed into reverence for her triumph, each word a testament to her enduring dignity. The Nevada plains, once a backdrop for privilege, now framed her empire, where Maya's victory stood as an unassailable truth. Maya Reynolds didn't come for applause. She came to reclaim what arrogance had tried to steal: the sky, the respect, the dignity that belonged to those who truly earned their wings. The next time they mock an unassuming woman in worn jeans, they might want to look skyward first. She just might descend in an F-35. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and become a part of our Everyday Life Stories community. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment below. We love hearing from our amazing viewers around the world.